Hey everyone, it's the Coach and Cruise podcast, week 9, I believe, of the live stream, and got a good show for you today. We got a little different layout on the old screen, a little bigger, so you can see Cruise and myself a little bit better. A lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Cruise's round of golf at the Edgewood golf course up in Lake Tahoe, where the celebrities play their tournaments. We're going to talk a little bit Scottish Open as they're maybe finishing or near the end of Saturday's round over there. A little bit of the All-Star game last weekend in Atlanta. The Giants starting off cold again at the plate yesterday. 49ers spring training about to heat up, or fall, the camp for the Niners is about to open, and already guys are injured and not participating. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about going to garage sales and what you're looking for if you go to thrift stores and garage sales and going to concerts. And we've talked about concert going before and costs of tickets and whatnot, but we're going to bring up some of that again, and it's going to be a good show. So Cruz, first of all, how's it going with you? And
Everything's
great
good.
weather.
We've got like it's been like in the high 70s, like almost perfect weather. It's kind of you got like the overcast mornings, which I kind of like, where it's kind of easier to sleep. You don't have to put the AC on. You can walk outside, wear a sweatshirt. I mean, I'm wearing a hoodie now, but and then as it gets nicer throughout the day, like around noon, it kind of lifts, and you got like a nice afternoon. It's been like pretty mild temps for us. It's been really nice.
What speaking of that, as you talked about when you went to Tahoe, and you have a up there was hot days, and then you said the nights got pretty cool. But what was it that round you played? I think it was at 8 o'clock tee time. You said, what was the temperature like
Yeah,
starting
so
off? I mean,
yeah, we wore shorts. Obviously, it was looking at the temperatures, it was gonna be like around 89 or something like that at its peak. But it said like when we teed off, it was supposed to be like in the 50s. So I wear like a 3/4 zip sweatshirt, and before we even teed off, it was already like 65 degrees, and it was like bright blue skies, no wind. A buddy of mine said the only thing that can kind of damage around when you go play at a place like that, especially because it's near the lake, is the wind kind of blows there sometimes. And I think the high when we played, I think we got done around like 12:10 or so. I think it was blowing like 4 miles an hour. So we got super lucky. Perfect golf weather. I was amazed at the property. Of all the times I've been to Tahoe, and I've been to Tahoe almost annually, I've never even seen the grounds. And it's bad on me because the place is pretty magical. It's special. Um, you pull onto the property, and it's right behind the people that don't know. It's like right behind the casino, so you're like probably like a 3-minute drive from where we're staying. And I don't really know, like, are we self parking? Like, how is this all working? You kind of figure it out as you go. And as you're driving in, they still had all the banners up from the tournament. All the structures are all around all the holes, and it just says valet only. I'm like, okay, so I just continue driving forward till you get basically to the pro shop, and you get out of your car. The guy takes the clubs uh, out of your car, and he's like, "How's your day going?" I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna get a lot better right now." You throw your golf shoes on, and he's like, "Okay, well, here's your ticket for your truck, and just walk in, check in, and then your bags will be on the range." And I'm like, "Huh? Okay, cool." So we check in, and we kind of looked around the pro shop, and they got a really good pro shop there. I could have honestly spent thousands of dollars at the pro shop. I kind of want to, like, whenever I play, and I think we've talked about this before, like whenever we go to a course like that, I always try to get like one piece of memorabilia, whether it's a hat or
yep,
a ball marker. And
yep.
they had this. I have the brand of bag that I have is called Ghost Golf. It's a really nice bag. I think I got it for Father's Day this year, and they make these really cool towels. They're kind of like heavy duty towels, and it had the Edgewood logo on it. And I know the cost of them because I've bought one as a gift before. It was like $25, and they had it marked up to 35. So you know what? We're going to spend a bunch of money here at the course, so I'm going to buy myself a towel and hook it to my bag, and so it was really good, man. I can't get over. I always tell people like, "Oh, what's your favorite course you've ever played?" And I played Pebble, and I played Spyglass, and I played all these courses. I played a bunch of good courses. I played Old Greenwood and Truckee. This is right at the top, man. I mean, I know you've walked the course. It's one of those ones that it is pricey. Pebble's kind of one of those places you might play once or twice, maybe in your whole life. Because this place is in Tahoe, though, I think this might be like an annual thing. Like I really enjoyed it that much. Where I think it's worth the price of admission. It was $425, which is obviously very pricey. But when you're up there, you're gonna, Tahoe, you're gonna spend money anyway, and it's just a really really great place. The whole property, like it's all a lot of the holes. I sent you some videos. They're all tree lined, and it's the sound it makes out there and the freshness of the air. We talked about that last week. It was just a really special place, and it's a place we were already talking. Now we're talking. Now we didn't talk to you about this. We're trying to get a big group together next year, whether we get 4, 8, or 12, whatever the group is, and we're going to go up a day earlier. So we showed up on Sunday, and we got there kind of as the tournament was ending. So we're going to get up there on a Saturday, spend the night in the hotel, wake up on Sunday, and they have shuttle services, so you don't even have to drive. Shuttle yourself right to the golf course and watch the Sunday, the final round of the event, and then play either Monday or Tuesday, which I think it's a really cool idea.
That's awesome. That course, just even walking it as a spectator is cool. And I didn't see many holes. You kind of walk in the main, 16, 17, 18 is kind of where everybody hangs out. But give us a little taste of like your favorite holes, not necessarily the ones that you played the best. Just a couple like memorable.
I liked, so hole number 8 is a par 4 that has this big tree in the middle, and I remember seeing this like because of watching the tournament and stuff. And when you're on the hole, it's really neat, like because it's kind of on the right side of the fairway, so you have to either hit it around it or over it or maybe under it. My buddy hit one and it was going right at it, and we're screaming, miss it, miss it, miss it, because it's like right at the tree. And then 9 is really cool. So 8 goes this way, and then 9 comes back along the lake towards the clubhouse. 8 and 9 are excellent holes. 9's great because you have the lake on the left, and then on the property on the right side of 9, you can rent these places. Now, you and I would never be able to rent these places. I think, like my buddy was telling me, he read that the Kardashians, when they go to Edgewood, they rent out the whole thing. And we're talking like probably, I don't know, 15 or so. They're like houses. It's all like big properties, like 3-4 bedroom properties. So lakes on the left and the properties are on your right. I can only imagine how much those places cost. And then, so that's a really cool hole. And obviously 17 and 18. 18 is also pretty cool too, because like you see, like, how Curry hit the ball in the water on 18. So then you find yourself like, I was in the right rough and there's a tree that was like right in front of me. So I had to actually lay up. I couldn't really go at it. I can only imagine like what Curry was doing. I knew what he was trying to do, and I'm not in any position to pull that kind of shot off.
Right.
Those kind of holes, the holes that are like right next to the lake, but there's also some cool holes where you tee off, and I sent you a video where like you're teeing off and it's tree lined, and it just, the sound it makes as it's coming off your club face, it seems like you're hitting it. I mean, I hit it well, but like it's really cool just how it's all laid out. It's all bunkered properly. There's a bunch of like water on holes that you have to avoid. It's just a really, really perfect layout. If you're a golfer and you like golf courses, this is one of the special ones I've ever played.
Yeah, and I think we're looking at for the YouTube viewers and the podcast listeners, that put up on the screen a picture of 17 and 18, and 17 on top there. It just looks funny because you're used to seeing all the boats and the craziness that happens on 17. But the video you shot, you could like hear the birds chirping in the background. Nobody's there, which had to make it awesome. And then it's got that big and kind of intimidating sand bunker basically from the beach right in front of the green, and it's just a cool layout right on the water. And then 18 is very similar. You kind of walk about 50 yards to the tee box, and then you end up back on the lake coming around like a little right hand turn towards the green, but then you have to deal with that lake. That's the bottom picture that you're talking about Curry hitting it into. I always thought you don't see in the celebrity thing, I didn't see many people hit it into the water, which it's kind of intimidating. That little stretch right before the green is kind of thin and tiny, but the green's pretty big, looks like. So
Yeah,
you know,
it's funny. So the water isn't really in play all that much if you
right.
play it unless you want to get real. So when I played it, I assumed because the water's on the left, I'm going to try to hit the ball down the right side, and so I did that. Well, the problem is that there's this big tree that's like
Yep.
in the way, and so I
Makes
had
your
to hit.
second
So I hit
shot.
driver. Yeah, so I hit driver, then I hit a 60-degree, almost like 100 yards, just to give myself a shot at the. If you're going to go at it from like back, maybe you could do it, but I only had like 180 in, maybe I want to say. But the problem is that that tree was I could. There's no way I can get the ball up enough, so I just kind of pitched it sideways into the fairway, and then the water essentially isn't really in your way. Like the water's
Right.
on TV, it almost looks like the water is like next to the green, but it's really not. It's only really in your way if you're going for it in two. If you lay
Right.
up, then the third shot's kind of just straight in to a pretty large green that has like bunkering around the right side of it. And so I just
Right.
laid up, and then I actually chunked my chip, which I was pretty pissed about. Ended up making 6 in the hole, and I was in really good shape. But it was just it's really well thought out. It's all like around greens, it's all protected by bunkering. Some of it's like uphill. The hole that we talked about the hole that Jimmy Rollins made the hole in one, I think it's 12.
Yeah.
You asked me how I did when we were talking on the phone the other day, and I hit it on the green. And then it's funny because my buddy Martin goes, look back and look at the tee box. You can't see it when you're on the tee box. But you look back, you can see where the trailer was parked, where he won the boat, and you can see like the trailer, which is pretty neat, man. All in all, man, I had high expectations of the golf course because a lot of my friends have played it. And then walking onto the property, and as you play it, it's one of those rounds, and we talked about this the other day as well. Like you don't want it to. A lot of times, when you get to the 15th, 16th hole of a regular golf course, you're like, okay, I'm ready to be done now. This is one of those ones that you don't want to end, and so we talked about this last week too. Our tee time was at 8. We got there at 6:30. Hit balls, kind of walked the course a little bit, checked out the pro shop, and then teed off at 8 o'clock. Got done at 12:15, and we stayed and had lunch. There's a restaurant that's up on the main like concourse area, outdoor. And the girls came and had lunch with us, and it overlooks the lakes on the left, 18s on your left, and the practice facilities on your right. Good food, and just like we were there till probably, I don't know, we got there at 6:30. Probably left at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a really special day, man.
Yeah, no, those are fun, and I'm the same way. It's an experience, and it's not something you want to rush out or leave too early and all that good stuff. Transitioning to that was staying, in that weekend and that day, was it you said you played Tuesday? Wasn't that also the day of the All-Star game? Right? Or was it Wednesday?
It was the night of the All-Star game. Yeah. No, it was Tuesday.
So I think I said it last week. I probably could watch the game. I think I even had time. I noticed early that I saw some comment about how Paul Skeens got 2 runs of run support, and because he never gets any in Pittsburgh, so they're kind of making a joke about how the National League was leading 2-0, and Skeens was.
And he still didn't get a win.
Yeah,
he still didn't get a win. That's what they're.
Well, and the thing is that it was like, and again, I didn't pay attention. I didn't realize the National League had got up, and then the American League started chipping away at it. And the only time I actually knew what was happening, because I was going to end up seeing the final score, but I got an update about this home run derby thing for extra innings, and I want to say I knew they were going to do something different if it was a tie, but I didn't know what it was and the format. So the update I got explained what was happening. I got, and that's the discussion. Is it a cool thing to do? Is it Is it not? Like, what are your thoughts on how that finished up there in the All-Star game?
Well, the one thing I do like, they went back to this, and I think they had so many people talk about it, was I think if you remember like years past, they would wear like jerseys that said like American and National. I like the idea that they're going back to wearing like their real
Oh, for
jerseys
sure.
on the game. I think that's a much better product. Um,
Yes.
the reason why, I mean, obviously, the reason why they don't want this game to go to extra innings. So you have to do something. They're trying to make it like interesting and fun. If it does go into extra, I think they had like a 19 inning game where they ran out of pitching, and I think that game ended in a tie. I want to say it was like years ago. I mean, do I like it? No, but is it probably the best thing? Yeah, I guess it's probably. I mean, what are you going to do? Like there's nothing else you can really do. You can't have a putt off. Like if you're putting, you can have a
Right.
putt off if it's tied or something like that. But so I guess that's the only play you can make. Um, I just think, and we talked about this last week as well. Like All-Star games in general, I'm just not that like tied to. Like I was checking. We stayed at a resort, and I was walking in and out, kind of checking the game and seeing how it was. And then we went to dinner, and I was, if it was on, so I kind of like was looking up, but I wasn't really following it too much. And then when I noted when I saw it, it was like 6-2 or something like that. And all of a
Right.
sudden, we get back to the hotel, and I pull my phone out. And it says Kyle Schwarber wins MVP without getting a hit. And I'm like, what happened? So then I like looked further, and I saw that the game ended up being tied, and they ended up doing that. So, I mean, yes, you have to do something to end the game, and they don't want it to go to extra innings. So that's kind of the play, I guess, that you have to make. It isn't all that much entertaining to me. I think, I even told, I think I told you, I'm like, oh, I'm going to watch the home run derby. I didn't watch hardly any of it. So, it's cool for the guys. I think for more than anything else, it's good for the guys to be able to get there and be recognized and all that kind of stuff, and they get to see each other on a non-competitive level in some aspects. So that's kind of the joy of it for them. As a fan, it's not a big thing for me.
Well, and I think that we talk about a lot is, it's the only All-Star game that you have to kind of play legit. Football, it turns into nothing. Now it's flag football, and basketball, nobody plays defense. It's like a rec league game out there.
Pickup game.
So I do, you know, give them a shout out, give them props for doing it that way. Again, you can't fake. You're not, if you're on the mound and you're throwing 95, you're not going to go on the mound and just throw like underhand. So, they gotta do that stuff and keep that legit. And then again, I don't mind how they end it.
Yeah,
They're already putting runners on second base in real games. So
yeah, at least they're not playing softball. You know what I mean? Like that would be the equivalent to flag football for football. Like let's play a softball game rather than playing. At least they're playing their natural game, and the guys are actually out there trying to compete. I did like. I don't know why they stopped this. I did like I think it was years ago where the winner of the game got home field advantage for the World Series. I like that because it gives the players something to play for. They don't do that anymore, but all in all, I think that the game is successful because it is the natural game that they play on a daily basis. So it is what it is. I'm just not a huge all-star guy. I think it's more of a players thing and a super fan kind of thing. I don't set my alarm to 5 p.m. I don't set my alarm to 5 p.m. on Tuesday and watch it from start to finish. I'll never do that.
So jumping into the second half, I get another update on my phone. The Giants game starts. The updates I get are when the game starts, runs being scored by either team, and then the final. So I didn't even realize that. I thought it would be another day or two before they played, but here they are opening up in Toronto the second half. And I'm starting to get blown up by my phone, but both my boys are talking about how Verlander's already down 4-0 early. And then I watched a little and drifted away from it. And then, of course, I get an update and I look and they don't score any runs again. And I don't even know how many hits they ended up having, but it was like I made the comment to Matthew. My son Matthew's in town till he leaves today, actually. And I said, the amount of pitches that a major leaguer doesn't get many that are good pitches to hit. Maybe one at bat, and at bat, maybe one. But there's curveballs these pitchers are hanging that end up right down the middle. That guy's just swinging. I mean, it was. And the thing is, my point is by saying this is nothing's changed, and I don't watch Eric Burns' podcast, but Will Clark's on there a lot. It was just funny when I see clips of it. He was talking about how like guys are like excited that they're batting like 240. He's like, if you're batting 240, you're not getting better as a hitter. You're not even like trying. Like, that's terrible. He's going off on that, and he kind of like talks like he's talking about the Giants to me every time. He's talking about hitters in general, but I know he's talking about the Giants because I'm like, I feel the same way. And again, I couldn't hit that stuff, but they're missing pitches that are those guys should be hammering. And you come out of you'd think my mind was like, okay, take 5 days off or whatever, get your head right. And they came back and it was the same. A couple guys had some good at bats, and they actually, if I recall, they had a lot of hits yesterday. They just couldn't. Oh, and then the other, that's funny. I saw a stat. The Giants in the last 10 years are the worst team in baseball batting average wise with runners in scoring position in the last 10 years. And it's like, no shit. So, somebody actually did the math because, man, the pitching has been there. We just can't hit the ball with guys. And it makes sense. And I didn't realize it was such a big problem over several years, but somebody did the math on that. And sure enough, here we are.
Yeah, I mean, I played in a golf tournament yesterday where the game was on after we got done, and they were like, Verlander's down 4-0 again. I'm like, I hate to say this, but is Verlander going to retire before he gets a win? Like, I don't like. I feel bad for him because it hasn't been all bad for him.
Yes, I was going to say, is it all him?
It's some him. It's some him
for sure.
Right? I mean, but he's 0-8 or 0-9, I think. He's 0-8 or 0-9. He's got like a 5 ERA now. So it's got to be some him, but I mean, in the game, if you watch in the games that he plays, we just don't score, and to be honest, we just don't score a lot anyway. So it's hard to like put it all on him. It's not all on him, and we'll have like series or stretches where we play better, but I just don't. To be honest with you, the more I see him play, and we talk about this all the time, I just don't see us making the playoffs because how are you? We're not consistent enough to be able to do the things we need to do offensively to be able to be in the playoffs. And if we're in the playoffs, we're gonna get beat right away anyway because we can't score runs. So, I think when it's all said and done, we're going to be around 500. We're going to be a third or fourth place team in our division. I think we're going to miss the playoffs. And I think that's just kind of the idea of it. I think I think we both see that the Giants have some good stuff that we do. We have great pitching and we play decent defense, but I just don't think we're offensively inept enough to carry us to that next step to be able to get into a stretch of, like we talked about, of like 10 games where we win 8 out of 10. We don't score enough runs to win 8 out of 10. Even if we play good defense and pitch well, say we go 5-5, 3 of those games we probably could have won if we would actually hit, but we just don't hit. And so that's what the conclusion of what's going to happen with our season is going to be all about us not being able to score enough runs. And it's widely available to everyone if you watch them. And it's just going to be. I don't think it's going to change. I don't think one bat's going to do it. Even if Devers gets hot and so gets hot, like I just don't know if it's enough because we just don't score enough consistently to be able to win those games.
And I think early on, when they were actually, I think, batting worse than they are now, they had a few innings of a lot of games where they'd score 5 or 6, and it was enough. but it was kind of a weird thing because they'd win the game like 6-0, but they'd have like a 6-run inning, strangely, and then that was it. So you're kind of, if you really
yeah,
watch, you're like, we're not that good. We just kind of have a moment, and then the pitching's good enough. And now it's like, we talk about all the time, but it's just like,
yeah. Well,
it's
it's funny
very
too because like
frustrating.
oh, of course, I always tell people like, oh, we won the game 8-2, for example. I'm like, well, tomorrow that probably means we're not going to score a ton of runs because that's just kind of how
Right.
it's been,
They
right?
don't
I mean,
follow up
we
with it
don't.
either. Yeah.
No, we don't, and that's not conducive to winning a bunch of games in a row, and it's not going to long term. It's not going to be good for us. So there's just no way.
Um, Moving into football, we're going to start talking football a lot, I think, here, just with reports on everything, college football, Niners, etc. You see a report, a couple things, right? I don't know. The media pushes out a guy like Juwan Jennings wants a contract, and I didn't read it. I think I was confused. Is he thinking about holding out this year, or is it for the next year? I just think a guy like that wants to play football. I think somebody else is speaking for him, agent, whatever, to get paid, which is fine. But that wide receiver room, we'll talk about the other stuff going on. It's kind of a mess. But what do you think of Jennings in the long term? Is he a guy you pay? Do you wait to pay him? Do you have any money to pay? I mean, I don't even know all that stuff. So
Yeah,
where
I
are you
mean,
at with that?
he signed a 2 year deal. I think he's getting paid like 7.7. I think it was 2 years, a little over 15 million. And I think before that he was making like two, so he's making like four times what he made 2 years ago, and he's made a good name for himself. We both really like him a lot. I don't want to see him go by any means, but I find myself like, why do these guys sign these 2 and 3 year deals, and then they have one good season, and then his agent comes up to him and says, "We need more money." And I think the reason being is they know how thin we are at the position, right? We're missing Ayuk till like a week 11. We'll talk about the Pearsall stuff coming up. Like he probably knows that the ball is in his court and that he can probably get something out of this. And so why? I mean, why not? I mean, I feel
Yep.
I don't like the fact that he wants a new deal, but I feel like we sort of have to give him one. I mean, we're in no position in our wide receiver room to lose a guy like Juwan Jennings at this point when we're getting into training camp. You're already going to miss Ayuk for 10 plus weeks. Now we're hearing about the Pearsall stuff. Who knows how long he's going to be out? Maybe 4 to 6 weeks to start the season. Juwan Jennings is our number one receiver, whether we like it or not, for the foreseeable future. And so I think they're trying to play the strong arm kind of move, and I guess from that aspect, it's probably pretty smart on his side. His agent's probably really smart for doing it. I do not think we're in a position to trade him. I don't think there's guys out there, if we do trade him, that we can bring in and have the sort of success that he's had. Also knowing that he knows our system and he knows what we do. So I think what you're going to probably see is you're probably going to see us extend him. And, as much as I don't think he necessarily deserves it, I guess I would say, because he's already gotten paid 4 times what he made 2 years ago. We already paid him. But they see the opportunity for him to make extra cash because of our situation, and they're taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like the guy. Seems like a nice kid, great player. I like the fact, he's super reliable catching the ball, obviously, and then he does all the other stuff, which makes you like him as a fan. Um, so I'm okay with paying guys like that. The market value, whatever that is for him. But I totally agree with you. We can't, unless we're gonna go grab somebody. I don't know who's out there still, and if they're still out there, why are they still out there? These insiders must know. Is it age? Is it an injury? Is it personality? What is it that aren't, these guys aren't being signed? Are they waiting to see who gets cut from other teams? But those kind of guys are getting cut from other teams. Those guys aren't going to be better than Jennings. It's kind of to your point, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so I, I'm fine with this. I hope it, 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 to me, if they could solve it soon, whatever that is, then again, just not having stuff like that hanging over the team's head. Not that it's a big deal, but if a guy's always talking about contracts and they're not in the building, we've seen what that does. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, they
that
said
wide
they,
receiver room is
they
just a mess right now.
yeah, they said that he apparently wants like $15 million a year. I'd like to go maybe before next week. I'll look into who are the players that make $15 million a year, and then let's compare them to Juwan Jennings and see if it's close. I don't know if it's going to be, because I feel like they're kind of taking advantage of the situation that they're put in front of them. Do I think he's a great player at 7.7 million? I think it's a great job for us. But we did give him the money that he asked for last year, and so it's
Right.
hard for me to then 1 year later, knowing our situation, go out and give a guy that I don't believe deserves $15 million a year. Now, like I said, I'd have to go back and look and see who's making that kind of money and compare him, because I don't think Juwan Jennings has ever had 1,000 yards in a season, has he?
Well, the
You
other
know,
point, that's the tough part because they've had enough good players and getting the other, I'm talking not just receivers, but McCaffrey needs touches, Kittle needs touches, or that not necessarily needs, but gets. So what is it? You talk about the agent's angle. Is the agent's angle like, well, I can take my guy to another team, and now he's more of a number one or more of a target, and his numbers would be higher. That's kind of a hard way to do business
right?
because you don't really know what you have per se. I mean, you know what you have, but what if you got him the ball even more? What would that look like? Do you know what I'm saying? Because
Sure.
that's what makes the Niners tough to kind of contract for. I think because there's so many guys that touch the ball and do great things with it that your value is kind of unknown, because if you're on another team, maybe you're touching, and that's what's kind of could be a little bit scary about if Debo, gets in shape and has Zach together. I mean, he could go off on a different team if they get him the ball all the time. So,
Yeah,
but
it's like one of those things too. It's one of those things too. Before we gave the money to Ayuk, we were talking about trading him, and then he goes and gets hurt. Now, granted, you can't control getting hurt. I'm not saying that, but at the time they were talking about trading Ayuk for George Pickens, and I was like, okay, well, that would be all right with me. And then Ayuk signs his deal, gets hurt. Pickens then, obviously, because he was frustrated in Pittsburgh, gets traded to the Cowboys. And now the Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, which I think is something to very much pay close attention to, because that duo, and they got a good tight end, they got some better running backs. Dak Prescott flings around pretty good. I think that might be the dark horse, and maybe the most improved team if everyone stays healthy. I'd watch out for the Cowboys. It's going to be really hard to cover those two guys, man. I mean, to be able to have that kind of weapons around you. That's why I feel like, man, at the time, obviously now that he's hurt, we can't talk about it so much, but I wouldn't mind having George Pickens right now. I can tell you that.
right. Well, that's the thing too. Like, I thought the Niners room was okay, but you're never going to see him. I mean, for a while. And then this
Mm-mm.
Pearsall thing, they made the announcement in the spring that he got injured. They're going to stop him, like shut him down till the fall. And I'm like, that's interesting that they were so strong saying that. Like, I think I immediately in my mind
They
thought
knew
it was
more.
more significant.
They,
Like a
yeah, they know more. They know more than we do, obviously, right? You don't, if you like strain your hamstring, you don't talk about like long-term effects of a strained hamstring. I think this
right.
was a bigger deal from the beginning, and the kind of writing was on the wall, and you kind of sort of called it. And now he's on the pup list. Like, it's like, wow, like this isn't just a strained
Yeah.
hamstring. Is this going to be like need to be surgically repaired kind of deal? Like,
Yeah.
where are we getting
Well,
with
and that's
this? And you know,
And that goes to kind of the conversation. Ayuk holds out, isn't very good, starts to have a game that he looks like he's going to break out, and then gets hurt. You don't know what you have in Pearsall yet at all. He's kind of going down the path of like a Trey Lance in a way. Like he didn't get on the field. Yeah, highly touted, but then like not enough reps to see what you actually have. And then injury. Jennings will be fine, but is he your top guy across the board? Because he's not going to run past people. And then you have these young guys, and it's like, and that's the thing. We need receivers out on the edge, because if you're not, like, everybody even still like would pack the box in to stop the run game, obviously, because that's what the Niners like doing. But if you imagine if they had like huge threats, a receiver that demanded double coverage, demanded it, how the run game would look. And now we're going to have these Joe Schmoes out there, the unproven guys, and nobody's going to, they'll single cover those guys and put the extra guy in the box. And now you run. I mean, it all is like an interconnected piece. If you're not fixing that.
That's why I was so adamant. Like I said it so many times in a row to where it was almost annoying why I really wanted Devontae Adams. I'm telling you, if we had Devontae Adams right now, and there was reports out there, and I don't know if it's true or not true, that he wanted to come to the 49ers, and we lowballed him. Well, so not only did we not get him, but then he goes to the Rams.
And then he's mad.
What are we doing? He's mad. He's very mad. So look out. And you got Matt Stafford, you got Puka Nacua. They have Kyron Williams running the ball. They have a good tight end. I would be very scared of the Rams if I were the Niners, because you got a pissed off Devontae Adams who wanted to come to your club. You lowballed him, probably way lowballed him, I'm going to assume. Then he signs with the team in your division, and now we have wide receiver problems. It's like,
yep.
What are we doing? Seriously, for real. What are we doing? I know they have the plans for what they want to do and blah, 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 blah. They didn't anticipate Pearsall's injury. You can't anticipate injuries. Now you have the Juwan Jennings thing. But this would all be kind of band-aided if we had a guy like Devontae Adams. Now we're forced to go pick up a guy like what we talked about before, Amari Cooper. And what do you get when you get a guy like Keenan Allen, those kind of guys? We're almost forced to pick those guys up, one of them, because our wide receiver room is not good enough currently. Especially if we were to lose Juwan Jennings and we trade him, we are in deep shit, dude.
Yeah. I don't think I think you do whatever you can to keep him, because you put yourself in that spot. And these guys that kind of showed out in the spring camp, cool, but what's that look like on Sundays in the fall is really what it comes down to. You could be beating like backup corners on your own team, but are you going to beat the Sauce Gardners of the world in real games? Or, you know what I mean? So
right.
That's definitely, I mean, amongst other positions, that is definitely one. And I'm hopeful, right? I hope to see that they clean that up or pick up guy, whatever, and they do well. But it's definitely a spot of weakness, and that they need to hopefully shore up as quick as possible. Let's move on to other stuff. So this morning we got a little bit late start on the pod. My wife pulls up on Facebook that some guy right down about 10 houses down from our house has a garage sale going on, and one of my family members is a huge garage sale goer, finding a lot of stuff. Little one man's trash is another man's treasure kind of deal. Well, this morning had golf clubs. It had tons of like trading cards, like baseball and other sports, and then a full room. We're talking 100, 200 pieces of cloth, like over years of time of like old time starter satin Giants jackets, 49ers, like old, like 80s. It had, like the foam fingers, a lot of that stuff. I remember as a kid, as a Niner fan. Um, so I basically nostalgically went through that. And then Amy picked up, we're going to the Giants game next Saturday. An old starter jacket. The guy said it was like $100 jacket. Those things are still kind of, you know, in style. They're actually coming back a little bit, but this is like an original starter jacket. I don't think starter exists anymore. Anyway, point being, I picked up a 58 wedge because I don't have any kind of flop wedge in my bag. So I'm curious how that plays for $15. Callaway. I don't know if it's a good club, bad club, the right size for me, but I'll swing it a little bit to make me end up probably going to get one of those, a nicer one for myself at some point. But that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. When you go to a garage sale, you're not looking for, perfect. You're looking for something that just kind of fits a need. And it's funny, I was talking to some of the football players, football coaches at the school I coach at, and we were just talking about, like, you go to like Best Buy and you're like picking out a TV. There's 20 of them on the wall, and you're like, that one's the clearest TV. But if you took the one that's sort of clear and right next to it, and you got that into your house, it would look like the best thing ever because you have nothing to compare it to, right? You don't have the 20 other TVs that are maybe better looking, but you can't compare it to it. So you go to a garage sale, I picked up this club, put it in my bag. Hitting it good or bad doesn't matter. It's like, it could be a $200 club and I got it for 15 and I'm hitting it. It's the best club in my bag now. So that's kind of the point I'm making with garage sales, is like somebody's getting rid of something that you kind of go, hey, I could use that. And it ends up turning into something you use daily. So what's your take on garage sales, eBay, buying used
I mean,
things, that kind of
it's,
stuff?
yeah, it's funny. It's funny. We used to back in the day, my uncle and my dad, we used to go to the Berryessa flea market all the time. We used to go to Capitol Flea Market, blah, blah, blah. So it kind of started there. And then fast forward 30 years, and I buy and sell stuff, and I do it for my friends all the time. I've been kind of good at this. I buy stuff on Facebook Marketplace all the time. Like my son, he plays this game called Minecraft. I'm not sure if you know what Minecraft is, but you probably do.
Yeah.
And there's this game called Minecraft Story, and I have no idea. I couldn't tell you what it was. So I go to Target. His birthday was 2 weeks ago. I'm going to try to pick up this game. Well, then I start reading into this thing, and it was like a limited time release, and they stopped making it. So my next move, I go on Amazon, and I go on Amazon, and they have used copies of this game. This game is probably retailed for like $50, right? I think that's what they about go for. Well, this game used on Amazon was going for $160, and I go, wow, okay, well, I'm in trouble. He really wants
Yeah.
it. I really would like to get it for him. And so my third option was, I'm going to check Facebook Marketplace. I sure as hell do not want to pay $150 for this Minecraft game on his Nintendo Switch. So thankfully, I got super lucky. And I go on Facebook Marketplace. This guy is selling this piece, this game, and he's selling it for $90. I'm like, okay, well, 90 is a hell of a lot better than 150. Now, granted, it's used, but I'm assuming it works, right? So I start talking back and forth with the guy, and I'm getting it for $75. Got it for my son, and it works great. I also built, so my stepson, who's 25 now, he got into golf about, maybe like 18 months ago, and he's kind of careful with his money. And I told him what I would do, and I told him, I said, hey, man, if you really want to get into this thing, even if you want to buy like a good used starter set, you're going to be into it for about $1,000. He's like, well, I really don't want to spend $1,000. I said, well, there's another way we can do it, but you got to trust me. I'm going to go on Facebook Marketplace. I'm going to build you a bag.
Yeah.
So I went on Facebook.
Together.
I did. I bought irons. I bought. One of my buddies had a wedge that he just gave me. I had a putter already for him I bought him a driver, and then I said, I think we did it for like 500 or 600. I got him a bag. I bought it on Facebook, and I'm going all over San Jose, Hollister, trying to find stuff for
Yep.
him. And I kind of like doing it. I kind of like the bargaining.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows, like, when you sell something, you don't necessarily think you're going to get full price for it unless you have like 20 people that want it, right? So you can kind of bargain them down. So it's cool. We got him a set. I think it was like for $500 or $600 with bag, everything all. So then he started playing a lot, and then I said, at that point, if you want to upgrade your bag, your set, and you get better at it, then that's the time to do it. So I'm a big, like, I'm not a garage sale goer, but I'm not against them. But when you
Right.
brought this, I remember as a kid, we wanted those starter jackets, man. And we didn't come up for much money, so I remember one year I got a giant starter jacket, and I was like, the one thing I wanted. And I think at the time we're talking 25, 30, they went for $100. So they're definitely
Oh yeah.
collectible. They're super cool, and they're definitely still like in style. I mean, Amy got a big come up on that. If people want to get rid of it and you can have use for it, take it. As far as I'm concerned.
Well, and the thing is, he had so many, and they're the Niners ones are that old, 49ers rustic gold.
Yeah. Oh,
They
that's
had
so
tons
cool,
of them.
dude.
The thing
Oh
is
man,
that
it's
he
so
goes,
cool.
they're 80s sizes, and you know what that
Right.
means. Like
Right.
you might have an
Small.
XL, and it fits like a youth large.
Yeah.
And so I didn't
Mm-hmm.
try them on. I wasn't looking unless there's something that absolutely caught my eye. Because one of those things is that stuff's a little bit more nostalgic than like practical. Like I'm not like Amy got it. We're going to the game. It's something that we don't go to tons of Giants games that you could put in the closet, and when you go, because it's Giants, it doesn't. The coldest day in San Francisco is a summer night. Right? So it's useful in the sense of having a warm jacket for those games. And so, she had two of them as another older, like kind of more of like a zip up lighter
Mm-hmm.
deal. And I thought the black, it's an old school, like black with the SF logo. I mean, it's sweet. It's just, and the guy's like, these are like
It's
$100
what.
on eBay. He charged us $60. And anyway,
Yeah,
it,
it's one of those things too. I'm assuming she's going to wear it next week, and I watch this. How many people come up to you and tell you that's a badass jacket? I promise you, because people that are like that have been around, not these young punk kids, people that have been watching the Giants for a long, long time, like want that jacket. Like that's a cool ass jacket, and people are gonna come up to you and be like, I bet you, be five or so people come up to you and be like, man, that's a really sweet jacket. Where'd you get it? Because you can't really find them. So when you come
right,
up on when you come up on like what you just said, you got to take advantage of it like right away. Like even if
well,
your $15 wedge works halfway decent and you can use it, I mean,
right,
$15 is $15. Like it's worth the shot at seeing if it works, right? I mean,
right.
if it doesn't, it doesn't. But it doesn't, you're out $15. But I bet you it's probably going to work pretty good for you. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing about what you just said was exactly what I said. And she doesn't think like us in that regard. And she's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
she's kind of just doing this jacket because back in the day, she worked at a place called Tom's Tees in Santa Clara. So she's used to selling like sporting goods and having like those jackets, the starters on the rack and selling a ton of them. But I'm like, the nostalgia, like people know, like that's an old, like, because they have new versions of the puffier jackets. They're not
Yeah.
starters. They have a specific look about them.
Uh-uh.
And I totally said exactly what you said. She's like, nah. And I'm like, you watch. I have a jacket. My dad bought a San Jose
Oh.
Sharks jacket like 2 years into their existence, maybe the first year at the Shark Tank, the San Jose Arena. Back then, it was the San Jose Arena. It wasn't all corporate named and SAP Center and all that stuff. This thing is sweet. It's like almost like it's like this kind of like a jeans type material, and it's like a beige sleeve. I could pull it out right now, show it to you. Beige sleeve, but then it's got like a lighter teal, almost like a Columbia blue interior with like
Mm-hmm.
Letterman's jacket, SJ,
Yeah.
on the front, and he put some pins on there from like that he got at going to games. I mean, I have to think that nobody has this jacket anymore. Like you can't find it anymore. It's that kind of collector's item, but it's not something that's just buried away that I'm saving. But I don't know even how much I could sell it for. I just think it's one of one. I just don't think anybody's
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
anything
It's like
like that.
those. And the cool thing about those is they made them in the late 80s, early 90s of my guess, because that's when I really wanted one. So I was assuming I was born in 82. So I think I'm late 80s, early 90s. And so they were in style at the time, right? And then they go out of style. But you know how it all works. It all comes back around.
Yeah,
And now it becomes like this, it's almost like an artwork type piece. And
right.
people want those. People want those. So to be able to get to be able to have that Sharks jacket is one thing, but to be able to get that giant starter jacket, I'm telling you, why I can't wait to talk to you next Saturday and see how many
Oh,
people
I
come up to me
know.
and be like, "Oh my god, it's so cool!" Like I would
And
love.
I'm gonna.
I I wish I had one. I mean, like I wish I had one, and I'm like,
Well, that was the thing. I
I'm old
feel
now.
like I don't. I didn't try any on because you just kind of eyeball, and it's one of those ones where you
Yeah.
like put your arm up and it like you
Yep.
stretch your arm out and the cuff goes to like mid forearm on the extra large, you know. But when you have it just in your
Yeah.
arms dangling, but like when you put your arm up to cheer or something, the things, so I wasn't looking into that. I think it's a perfect fit for her. She'll put some jeans on. She's got a little Giants hat,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to make her
Yeah.
stand out because, like what you said, she's like, no, and I'm like, I said
You
exactly what you
don't.
said. I'm like, it's gonna
But I'm
happen.
telling
Someone's
you,
gonna be like, "That's cool."
because if I was at the game and I didn't know you and I saw it,
Yep.
I would go
Hmm.
up to you and say something. I know I know people are, maybe you call me weird or whatever you want, but like I understand when that jacket was made, and I wanted
Right.
that jacket. And now that you have it, how do you have it and I don't have it? And it's like
Yeah. No,
people will come up
exactly.
to you because people have been watching the Giants. A lot of, obviously people that are baseball fans and Giants fans have been Giants fans forever. Like I've been a Giants fan my whole entire life, and there's a lot of us out there. And when you go to these games, obviously there's young kids in there, but there's a lot of older people like us that understood when that jacket was made, and like, how is it possible that you still have that jacket? You can even say like, "Oh, I've had this jacket for 30
Right.
years," but in reality, you just picked it up today. Yeah, there's gonna be some buzz around that jacket. I wish they would like come back. Like you said, Starter doesn't make that stuff anymore. But when they did, it was like the hot item. I'm telling you,
Oh yeah.
I came from no money, and I asked Santa Claus for a starter jacket. I don't remember if I got it or not. I think I did, and I could not tell you where it was at. So to be able to be 35-ish years later, and to be able to be like in wearable condition, it sounds like it's in good
Yes.
condition.
Yep.
That's a great pickup. Great
Well,
pickup.
and that's the thing. That room had a ton of them. There was like two or three of the same jacket, maybe different years of the Giants ones, and then different kinds. Some had like the all white with like the orange and black on the cuff. I mean, they're just cool. And I when Amy's like, "Hey, you want to check this out?" I saw the golf clubs. That my eye caught the picture of the wall of Niner stuff, and I'm like, I just want to go. And so right when I walked down there, I wasn't sure because it opened at 8:30, and the guy, oh, he's like your age, the guy. He's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just been collecting, and I'm like, where's the Niner stuff? Because it wasn't out. It was just this closet of stuff. He's like, yeah, go ahead and go back there. And what's funny is when Amy's trying on her jacket, this other lady's older than us by a good 10 years. She's peeking around the corner, like on a mission to find something too. Like she knows, she knows what's up. And I didn't see what she was grabbing, but it's majority of it was Niner stuff. And sure enough, the people know, like you probably had one if you were that age, she probably had something like that back then and thought like years later, like, I don't have that anymore. That was friggin' awesome that I had it. And I want to, if you've got it, I might pick it up again because of that
Yeah, it's
nostalgic.
like it's one of those things too. Like you can go on eBay or Facebook and find these items, but you're going to pay 3 times what you paid, right? To be able to
Oh,
just
for sure.
walk, You don't have to go. You don't have to go out to get it. You're walking 10 houses down and you see it. You better pick it up because somebody else is going to get it if you don't. And that's why it's
And I,
important. Like you said, when you text me this morning, oh, it opens at 8:30. We're going to be a little bit late for the pod. I'm like, get down there. If they got good stuff, dude, you better get there right when it opens because they ain't going to last long. Especially that kind of stuff. There's people out there that are like sports people that when they see memorabilia, they just grab it and it's not going to last long. I
well,
guarantee
and
you
the
that
thing
guy is going to sell out of all this shit. You know.
it's not even. It's like sometimes you go, oh, he's got a couple Niners things. It's just like what's in your closet. I think I've seen either this guy. There's a couple other people that live right in this area. Maybe it is the same guy, just didn't pay attention. It's like a ton of stuff, and it's like, and it's original. So his closet,
Mm-hmm.
it's thousands of dollars of stuff, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like you said. I mean, I don't know if people. I think in like an area like you're a more populated area that would just be lines out the door. I mean, a lot of
Oh,
people
without a
out
doubt.
here like older, either they have some of that stuff or you
Or
know
not getting rid of
they
it.
they yeah, so they don't they already have it or they don't care to have it. And, you know, they're too old. That it's more like I just went to look really, but I think, and it turns out that the guy taught didn't teach at the school I taught at, but he goes, "You look familiar." I guess we're, you know, he's in the district that I was in, teaching a different
Mm-hmm.
school, and then he actually got his teeth fixed by Amy at the orthodontist. He's like, "You look familiar too." He said his name, and I was like, "Yeah, you were a patient." And so I feel like I can now walk down to his house and be like, "Hey, man, you still got any?" If I wanted to, like, just peek in his garage,
Right.
and his dog that he has all his, when I go on walks stuff, that dog always barks when I walk by, so I could. So I remember what house it was. You know, yep, that was the dog
Yeah.
barking
Heck yeah.
49er gear guy. So
Yeah.
anyway, speaking of going to things, last night I told you Matthew's in town, and it turned out that I was going to a concert anyway, and it happened to be a band that we like, and it's the guys behind me. It's a band called Orthodox. They're from Nashville, Tennessee. They headlined this tour, and they had a band that majority on the undercard, called Mugshot, and they're from San Jose. Actually, 3/4 of them are from San Jose, and a couple other bands that. And a lot of times when you go see a bands, you might want to just see the headliner. You should go and watch the people play before them, but sometimes you're just like, I want to do that, especially my age. You know, you're standing around for a long time. But I told Matthew, I'm like, I want to see these other bands. And sure enough, all four of them that we saw were good. And it was a fun night. I mean, if you know, we were talking about this, you go to a country concert or, you know, an old 80s band, you know, and you're sitting there bobbing your head and you're singing the songs that, you know, you remember. But when you go to these concerts that I go to, it is a war in the pit. It's a circle pit. It's guys swinging their arms and throwing basically punches all over, stage diving, front flip, back flip, every kind of flip. Um, so it's like a workout because a lot of times you're not necessarily paying attention to what's going on stage because people are flying all over the place right near you or being pushed into you or front flipping into you. And so I wouldn't probably care as much, but since I wear glasses now as an old man, I pay attention to that because, you know, I don't want to lose my glasses, but I don't want anything breaking and then breaking my face even more. So Orthodox laid it down last night. They all did, and it was just fun. And the cool thing about it, I bought the tickets several years ago, and this is kind of the point I was getting to, is that you go see bands like these in a venue that holds 400 people, and you're paying $30 for your ticket, right? And then you're your girlfriend, is she going with friends? Is that what to that country show?
No,
And how much is she paying?
she
Or how
works for
much are tickets?
she works for I yeah, she works for iHeart, and we actually had a pair of tickets that we got for free for Morgan Wallen. He's playing August 1st and August 2nd, but we're going to be in Cabo. So I was just talking to a buddy of mine, and he's like, "Hey, can you get tickets to Morgan Wallen?" Like, that's a pretty tough ticket to get, And he's like, "Well, I was just looking, and standing room only at Levi on August 1st, which is a Friday. He sold out 2 shows in a row. Standing room only is like $430 to watch Morgan Wallen." And he's got I think our stadium holds like 68,000, I want to say, something like that. So you got like in upwards of 135,000 people. And some of these tickets I'm talking about standing room only. So you can only imagine if you're down like stage level, we're talking thousands of dollars to go see a concert. And I just, it's one of those things, if I could get a ticket for free, I would do it, but I would never in my life pay $500-$600 to watch a concert when I can just listen to his stuff on my app, and
Right.
I'm completely okay with that.
Well,
There's two things that I don't spend money on, and we've talked about this, and we talked about this before the podcast today. As an athlete, I do not spend a lot of money watching games. Number one, and number two, I will not spend a ton of money to watch a concert. It's just not my thing.
no. Well, my question for Gabby is, what are the face value of some of these things? Are you talking the resale, like the face value is 430, or the resale? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of
Yeah,
times,
I mean, the ticket's probably only like $75, $100, I would
right,
assume. In the resale, that's like when a buddy of mine, this is a crazy story, uh, Taylor Swift, right? Big time artist who sells out. So her and Morgan Wallen kind of are like the peak of whoever everyone wants to see. And so Ticketmaster, when they first opened for Taylor Swift, she had 2 shows here. I think it was 2 years ago. And a buddy of mine wanted to buy tickets for his daughter. And I said, "Well, how many tickets are you getting?" He said, "Well, if I can buy them, I'm going to buy as many as I possibly can." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Dude,
right,
you don't understand.
the
People, they're going
resale,
to resell." Yeah, so he ended up getting, how many tickets did he get? 6 tickets. And this is when like Ticketmaster like froze, and there was like big
right,
ordeal because nobody could buy tickets. So he was able to get in, and he got the tickets at Levi. He bought 2 tickets for his daughter and her friend. And then he sold the other 4 for like 10 times what he bought the tickets for. It was insane. Now I don't understand, and you call these people Swifties, all that stuff. Like I don't have any problem with Taylor Swift, but like I'm not like I would
right,
never
yep,
spend. But people were spending like $1,500 to go sit at the second level of
right,
Levi Stadium to watch Taylor Swift. And I just will never. I was just like I was telling you before. We're going to Cabo. We're staying. We're staying at like a 4.5-star resort. It's a beautiful resort. We stayed there 5 times. Uh, we got flights to and from the airport to the resort. All food is included. All drinks are included, and we paid $2,700 for 6 nights, 5 nights, 6 days, 5 nights. And so when people talk about going to see a concert for $1,500 for 3 hours, I'm like, we're having like the vacation of a lifetime. Essentially, we're on a golf course. It's a beautiful place, and we're going to be there in 2 weeks. Like, I would totally rather spend my money on something like that, where I'm getting a lot more out of it than just spending the $1,500 to have fun for 3 hours. When I just don't. I don't know. It's weird. I just don't, when it comes to that. And then when it comes to like sporting events, like going to see a Niners playoff game, and we were playing at SoFi 2 years ago when we lost, 3 years ago when we lost in the NFC Championship game. And my buddy's like, "Hey man, the tickets are only $1,150." And like $1,150. Like it makes you like your heart stop for a minute, because like it's just not my thing. I just don't. I don't. You have to drive or fly down to LA for
yep,
this particular game. You have to pay for parking. You have to pay for food. You got to pay for hotel, and then you got to pay $1,150 to go see a game. You're talking like way more than my 6 day 5 night vacation, where it's all included, like food, drink,
right.
and this place is
No, that's
beautiful.
my
Like
thing with
it's almost laughable to me.
as
It's
cruise.
laughable to me, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where there's a point, right? There's a point where it might be the person or the team or the whatever that it'd be so awesome to do, but then life gets in the way and the practicality of it, and you can't have that experience. I mean, I've overspent on a lot of things, and I've been okay with it, but not crazy like that. I mean, I even going to bigger concerts, it's not only getting there like you're saying, but you want to get some merch or something that you remember for being there, and they overcharge for all that stuff. So there, it's just it's insane. They get you. It's just like Matthew's at the venue last night. He's paying $9 for a beer, like you said last time. You go into a Giant into Oracle Park, and it's close to $20, even though you're getting a 24-ounce can. I mean, it's just I don't I'm at the point where I don't want to sit there, and I don't ever really do this, but like, how many days of work did I put in to go sit at a concert for 3 hours or whatever, like you're talking about? Like, I don't ever, if I did that, I'd lose my mind. Like, even with taxes, like, how many days of the month do I work just to pay the taxes I'm going to be paying this month on my paycheck? I just don't want to wrap my head around that, but I do that a little bit with what we're talking about, because it's like, man, I'm going to the Giants game next week, and I was looking for the cheapest tickets. Well, the cheapest tickets are like $68, which is not bad. But driving down there, parking, it's 3 tickets. You're out $500, and it's a baseball game that you could have watched on TV. Obviously, there's they grab you. It's Steph Curry bobblehead night, so of course Amy wants to go, but we better get there early because they're only giving out 20,000 of them. And then the other part of that is it's Steph Curry bobble night. Hey, Amy, what are you going to do with that bobblehead? Because right behind my right shoulder here is about another 20 bobbleheads of other stuff that we've done, and they collect dust up there. So they might be collectible, maybe, but it's a piece of plastic. So anyway, I mean, it's the things you do, right, for the moment. I always say this too. I don't mind spending money on like making memories, but to your point, you're going to make a ton of memories on your vacation. So you are spending money on that to have that moment, those moments.
Yeah, it's like the one thing I tend to spend my money on for myself is golf. But even then, like I always tell people, we play golf. I play golf weekly, but I try to keep it under $100 every time I golf. The 90% of the time we played our local golf course here at Bridgemark in Hollister, it's $58 or $62. Like, that's worth it to me. I don't tend to go out and play Pebble Beach.
Yeah,
that's like a once in a lifetime kind of thing. When we just got to play Edgewood, that was like something I see myself spending money and getting joy out of it. But like 95% of the time, we play golf within our means. Like, I'm not going out to Spyglass and all these other. I try to keep it local, and we just do it because we really enjoy playing golf. And I'm not wasting a whole paycheck on it. We just did the same thing 2 years ago. Went to the Giants game. I think we've talked about this on the podcast. And we took my son, and it was great. We had memories. It was great, and we had a good time. But it was a school night, and it took us 2 hours to get there. It took us 2 hours to get home. It was a Tuesday night. We ate before. I walked him around the stadium. He got to eat all the cotton candy and anything he wanted. And I look at, after parking and gas, and we spent like $500 or $600 on a Tuesday night. And so, it's hard for me to compartmentalize that stuff when I could save that money and go to a place like Tahoe with my family and spend the money on, who cares what it is, because you're making, like you said, like long-term lifetime memories that you're never going to forget,
Definitely long-term memory stuff, long-term. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. If you care so much about an artist or whatever, there's some people that are so fanatic, and their kid will cry their eyes out because they don't get to see Taylor Swift like their friends or something. But it's whatever you want to do. It'd be nice to have tons of money and to not worry about it, but that's not the case for most people. So, well,
Yeah, it's like
anyway, that was
when we
go ahead.
one last thing. It's like when we go on vacation. I think you're kind of the same way as me. I try to prepay for as much of it as I can
Yeah,
beforehand, and that way when I go on vacation, I feel like it's free. I know it's not, but
I know exactly
like
what you're
for
saying.
our yeah, like our Cabo trip, we paid for it. We bought the flights, I don't know, 6 months ago, and I paid for the resort like
Yeah,
3 months ago or
it's
2 months
money
ago. And so
that's
now
spent
when we get to go
already.
on vacation, it's already
Um,
paid. It's already paid for. Yeah, I've already like the supply and demand of it all is all done. Like it's good.
right, and that's the other thing. You did pay for it, but you've saved up enough money, so maybe you buy a T-shirt or something else there because you
Right.
felt like that's what you're paying for, even though you already paid. And that's what they do now. They announce concerts or whatever way in advance, basically trying to give you time to save up. So they kind of know you need time. They can't just turn around in a week and be like, "Hey, it's $500 to go to this concert, and it's next week." So anyway, it's a good
Yeah.
thing that they got going, and they trap people into doing it because people want to do that kind of stuff. So anyway, we're gonna wrap it up this week. It's good talking with you, Cruz. Good stuff, listeners, viewers out there. We're gonna be trying to figure out our schedules here as we go through the rest of the summer. We might be taking some weeks off and doing it on different days because of starting school, and I have Saturday morning priorities. But Cruz and I will figure it out, and we'll be able to give you the content you want to see and listen to, and all that good stuff. But Cruz, you have a good week, right? And everybody out there, have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you next week.